So here we are post-narcissist relationship. I've had a runny nose, so if I have to, click out, there's a lot of colds going around. Like my family all have colds. So anyhow, you were probably isolated in the narcissistic relationship. They tend to isolate you, and they do this gradually. They do it gradually by, let's say you make plans to go somewhere, and you probably don't have a whole lot of friends because, again, they isolated you from people. If you're like me, I don't have a lot of friends. It's been that way like my entire life. There's like, I have, I don't know, what do you call them, associates, or, there's a group of people that I talk to, but I don't see on a regular basis. And that was by my choice because it's a long story, but just because of how I grew up, and we weren't allowed to have friends over our house at all, ever. So, I just got used to not having friends and not trusting people, again, because of how I grew up. So, but if you are a fortunate one and you have a lot of friends, that's great because that's really going to help you out during this time of being alone or being in a new environment, or you moved out on your own, or you're staying with somebody, or maybe the narcissist moved out. But a narcissist allowing you to stay in the marital home, yeah, chances are that's not going to happen because they're still banking on you taking them back. They're still banking on God reconciling your marriage, your relationship. Even though they cheated on you, even though they lied, even though they abused you, and a whole slew of other things, they still believe that you're going to come back. Now, they're clearly in denial. And if God, decides to reconcile and restore your marriage, I mean, I can't imagine a loving God that would allow us to go through, these toxic, abusive relationships. And, we have free will. We made choices. We always had the choice to leave when the abuse started, But if you miss the red flags, like I missed red flags, I've always missed red flags because I grew up, being abused. So when there was red flags and there were things happening, I was like, oh, that's not a big deal because, I was beat, like on a weekly basis, my entire life. So it was hard to see red flags. So that's a disadvantage for me. Sucks to be me. That's a disadvantage for me. If you're alone, and I would give anything to be able to book a trip and go somewhere just to escape this turmoil, this ongoing turmoil that's just gone on for so long. I'm talking years. I would give anything just to go, rejuvenate and go recharge and process things and, help heal a little bit. But, not everybody has the money to go do those things, especially if you left and you're on your own. Financially, you might not be able to do that. But, where there's a will, there's a way. So I just pray, God willing, that I'll be able to do that soon. It is hard getting used to not being in a relationship. It's hard getting used to not being married anymore. And it's lonely, but you can't mistake the loneliness for you can't mistake the loneliness for or you can't mistake missing them. And what are you missing? We're missing the routine. We're missing the idea of the marriage. We're missing, them coming home every day or not coming home. You're missing the comfortability of you knew what every day was going to be like for the most part. They are very unpredictable, so you were walking on eggshells, but you're just missing the old life, but it wasn't healthy. It was not a healthy life. If you got sick, I got sick. I lost hair. I lost a ton of weight. I was a basket case. I was a nervous wreck. I didn't have an appetite. And then I finally started to get, take some power back and finally started getting stronger. And, started putting weight back on. My hair started filling in, I just started really taking vitamins and just feeding my body and feeding my spirit, with scripture and journaling and going on meditation walks. Epsom salt baths, bubble baths, you name it. Like, those are all the things that you can do, bougie on a budget. So, those are things that you can do that don't cost a lot of money. But don't mistake the loneliness, with all the abuse and stuff. Your brain is still trying to process what happened. And God willing, we get to the point where we can actually see the abuse, the toxicity for what it was. And I'd be willing to bet that most of you are not, you're still hearing from the narcissist. Especially if you can't go no contact, especially if you have kids with the narcissist or you have financial, things that you're still dealing with and you can't go completely no contact. If you can't go completely no contact and they're hounding you, and don't get sucked into an argument because you're not going to win. There's not that one final conversation that you're going to have with the narcissist and they're going to go, oh, okay, I get it. Because you can send them pages of text messages, write them letters, emails, even over the phone. And they're going to make it seem like they care, they miss you, they start crying. They're probably not even crying over the phone. If they're in front of you, they're probably just wiping their eyes and sniffling, but you don't see any tears. But you have to stand your ground. It is so hard. It's hard when it's a cold night, when you just feel like having company, you want to watch a movie and just have somebody there. It's not worth it. Don't give in. Don't give in. Like I said, if God decides to restore your relationship, or for whatever reason they change for you, they're not going to change without a lot of therapy. And even with a lot of therapy, the narcissists that I've seen that have been in therapy for like 2 or 3 years, they're still a narcissist. They're still displaying acts of a narcissist. So there's really no cure. They're going to promise you. Oh my God, they're going to say everything you want to hear. Everything you always wanted to hear. Don't buy it. Just give yourself the time to heal and then decide. Clear your mind first. And then you have a clear mind to make a good decision. as best as you can.